The Vietnam War launched what may have been the largest peace movement ever in the United States. And as the spouse of a soldier, but also as someone against the war, what was your perspective on the movement?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Now, as a military wife, had I participated in any kind of peace march, Ralph would have had to pay the price. He would have been reprimanded. I would have been called into the commanding officer's office. So we weren't allowed to participate in anything that was going on. I could cheer it privately, but we couldn't participate.
Did other wives on the base feel the same way as you?
Some wives did, but the majority of wives did not. I'm going to assume that if you married a military man, you believe, as he believed, in whatever the United States was asking you to do. You were very, very careful about what you said. You didn't want it to get back to whoever was the commanding officer. Oh, Mrs. Hyatt is bad mouthing the Marine Corps for participating. No, you just hinted at your feelings and saw if you got a reaction to them and what that reaction was.
How did you find support during the war?
Lived off base in a community that had very few military people. I started an organization to raise funds for sports activities. There wasn't enough money to buy equipment or clothes. So I got involved in my local community and got a tremendous amount of support. And in that community, I still didn't talk about my opposition to the war because you were very careful about what you said.
What was it like for your husband to return to civilian society?
He retired after 25 years, and I really feel he was a lost soul. I think his identity was being a Marine and a very proud Marine. He was one of the only Marines ever to get the Congressional Medal of Freedom when he was at National Security Agency in Maryland. So for him no longer to have that identity, I think was very, very hard. And I think that promoted the end of the marriage, really.
The men who fought in Vietnam returned home and obviously received a pretty hostile welcome.
Yeah.
How did this affect your husband?
We didn't have it in our community because we were 15 miles from a military base. Our community was very used to military people being around and very supportive.
Recently passed away, and his friend shared with us that he was sharing Vietnam stories on his deathbed the morning he died.
He was a Marine until he died. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
How did he feel about the way that the media had portrayed the war?
There were times when the media was very, very supportive until the real horrible escalation of the war, when they sent 500,000 troops over there. Then he felt that the media had an obligation to support what their country was asking of their men.